The encounter. The vast expanse of space stretched out before the Zarn exploration fleet, an inky void punctuated by distant stars. Captain Vexlor stood on the bridge of the flagship, the Cosmic Seeker, his 4 eyes scanning the holographic displays surrounding him. The fleet had been tasked with charting the unexplored regions beyond the Andromeda Arm, seeking new resources and potential colonies for the ever-expanding Zarn Empire. "Captain, we're detecting an anomaly at the edge of our long-range sensors," reported Sensor Officer Zalna, her tentacles twitching with excitement. Vexler's crest flared with interest. "On screen," he commanded, his gravelly voice echoing through the bridge. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a distant object drifting through space. It was unlike anything the Zarn had ever encountered. A massive vessel, easily dwarfing their largest battleships. Its hull was a patchwork of metals and composites, with strange protrusions and geometry that defied conventional shipbuilding logic. "Magnify," Vexlor ordered, leaning forward. The image zoomed in, revealing more details of the mysterious ship. Its surface was scarred and pitted, bearing the marks of countless impacts and repairs. Yet, despite its battle-worn appearance, it seemed to radiate an aura of power and purpose. "Sir, I'm not detecting any energy signatures," Zalna reported, her voice tinged with confusion. "No heat emissions, no propulsion systems. It's as if it's dead in space." Vexler's secondary hearts quickened. This was unprecedented. In all their travels, the Zarn had never encountered a ship of this size that didn't broadcast some form of energy signature. "Any life signs?" he asked, though he already suspected the answer. "Negative, sir. If there's anyone aboard, they're not registering on our scans." The bridge fell silent as the crew contemplated the implications. Vexler's mind raced with possibilities. Could this be a derelict from some long-lost civilization, or perhaps a trap set by an unknown enemy? "Sir," the communications officer, Keldor, spoke up, "I've been analyzing the ship's exterior markings. They don't match any known species in our database, but there's something familiar about them." Vexlor turned to face Keldor, his curiosity piqued. "Explain." Keldor's fingers danced across his console, bringing up a series of images on the main screen. "These symbols here, sir, they bear a striking resemblance to the ancient writings we discovered on the ruins of Proxima Beta." A collective gasp rippled through the bridge. Proxima Beta was a legend among the Zarn, a dead world that had once been home to a civilization of unimaginable technological advancement. The ruins there had hinted at capabilities far beyond even the Zarn's understanding. "Are you suggesting," Vexlor said slowly, "that this ship might be connected to the Proxima Beta civilization?" Keldor's skin flushed a deep blue with excitement. "It's a possibility, sir. And if it is, well, the potential scientific and technological advancements we could gain are immeasurable." Vexlor nodded, his mind made up. "Helm, bring us alongside that vessel. Maintain a safe distance, but I want a closer look." As the Cosmic Seeker maneuvered closer to the mysterious ship, Vexlor couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the precipice of something monumental. The sheer size of the vessel became even more apparent as they approached, its hull stretching far beyond the limits of their view screen. "Sir," Zalna called out, her voice tinged with alarm, "I'm detecting a faint energy spike from the ship. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before." Before Vexlor could respond, a brilliant flash of light erupted from the surface of the mysterious vessel. The Cosmic Seeker shuddered violently, and for a moment, all systems went dark. As emergency power flickered back to life, Vexlor found himself staring at a changed landscape on the view screen. Where once there had been empty space surrounding the alien ship, now there was a shimmering field of energy, pulsing with colors that seemed to defy the very laws of physics. "Status report." Vexlor barked, his heart pounding. "All systems operational, sir," his first officer, Trenlox, reported. "But we're trapped. That energy field has us completely surrounded." Vexlor's mind reeled. In all his years of exploration, he had never encountered anything like this. The ship that had appeared dead and abandoned just moments ago now seemed very much alive and in control. "Sir," Keldor's voice cut through the tension. "We're receiving a transmission. It's in Zarn." Vexilor's crest flattened against his skull in shock. How could an alien vessel know their language? "On screen," he ordered, bracing himself for whatever might come next. The view screen flickered, and a face appeared. A face unlike any Vexilor had ever seen. It was smooth and pale, with 2 eyes, a prominent nose, and a mouth full of flat teeth. The alien's head was crowned with a mass of dark filaments. "Greetings, explorers," the alien spoke, its voice resonating with an otherworldly timbre. "I am Captain Ilara Chen of the Terran vessel Odyssey. Welcome to the edge of human space." Vexilor's mind raced. Terran, human. These were terms he had never encountered before. And yet, here was this alien, speaking their language as if it were the most natural thing in the world. I am Captain Vexilor of the Zarn Exploration Fleet," he managed to reply. "We mean you no harm. We are peaceful explorers." The human's mouth curved upward in what Vexilor would later learn was called a smile. "We know, Captain Vexilor. We've been watching you for some time. And now, we believe it's time for our species to meet properly." As the implications of the human's words sank in, Vexilor realized that everything he thought he knew about the galaxy, about his people's place in it, was about to change. The Zarn had always considered themselves the pinnacle of galactic civilization, the most advanced species in known space. But now, faced with this enigmatic human vessel that had appeared out of nowhere, trapped his ship with ease, and spoke his language fluently, Vexilor began to understand that the Zarn might not be alone at the top after all. "We have much to discuss, Captain Vexilor," Ilara Chen continued, her expression both welcoming and inscrutable. "Your people have traveled far, and there is much we can learn from each other. But first, you must understand that the universe is far larger, far more complex, and far more wondrous than you have ever imagined." As the human's words washed over him, Vexilor felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Fear of the unknown, of the potential threat this advanced civilization might pose, but also exhilaration at the prospect of new knowledge, new frontiers to explore. We are ready to learn," Vexilor said, drawing himself up to his full height. Whatever came next, he would face it with the courage and curiosity that had driven the Zarn to the stars in the first place. Ilara Chen nodded, her smile widening. "Then let us begin, Captain. Welcome to a new era of galactic history." As the transmission ended, Vexilor turned to face his crew. Their expressions mirrored his own mix of emotions: fear, excitement, curiosity. They stood on the brink of a new chapter in their civilization's story, about to make first contact with a species that seemed to defy everything they thought they knew about the universe. "Prepare for contact," Vexilor ordered, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his hearts. "Whatever happens next, remember this moment. This is why we explore. This is why we reach for the stars." As the cosmic seeker hung suspended in the strange energy field, surrounded by the vastness of space and the enigmatic human vessel, Vexilor couldn't help but feel that they were witnessing the dawn of a new age. An age where the Zarn would no longer be alone in the cosmic dance of advanced civilizations. The encounter had only just begun, and already it promised to reshape the very foundations of Zarn society. As Vexilor prepared to meet these humans face to face, he knew that nothing would ever be the same again. First contact. The docking procedure was unlike anything the Zarn had ever experienced. As the cosmic seeker approached the massive human vessel Odyssey, Captain Vexilor felt a strange tingling sensation wash over him. The ship's systems flickered momentarily, and then they were inside a cavernous docking bay that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "Remarkable," muttered Science Officer Krillax, her tendrils waving in excitement. The interior volume of this bay far exceeds the exterior dimensions we observe. Some form of spatial manipulation technology, perhaps. Vexilor nodded, his 4 eyes darting around, taking in every detail. The docking bay was a hive of activity, with various machines and robotic units moving about with purpose. Most intriguing were the handful of humans they could see, bipedal beings of varying colors and sizes, all engrossed in their tasks. As the cosmic seeker settled into its berth, a delegation of humans approached. Leading them was the figure they had seen on the view screen, Captain Ilara Chen. In person, she cut an impressive figure, her dark hair pulled back tightly, her uniform crisp and adorned with unfamiliar insignias. Captain Vexilor, she called out as the Zarn delegation disembarked. Welcome aboard the Odyssey. I trust your journey through our docking field was comfortable. Vexilor's translator implant worked flawlessly, converting her words to perfect Zarn. He marveled at the technology that allowed such seamless communication. It was enlightening, Vexilor replied, his crest flexing in a gesture of respect. Your ship is truly remarkable, Captain Chen. I must admit, we have many questions. Ilara smiled, a gesture the Zarn were quickly learning to interpret as friendly. And we have many answers to share, Captain. But first, let me introduce you to my team. She gestured to the humans standing behind her. This is Dr. Aisha Patel, our chief xenobiologist. Next to her is Commander Jack O'Neill, my first officer. And this, she said, indicating a being that was clearly not human, is Ambassador Zixtor of the Galactic Confederation. Vexilor's heart skipped a beat. The being she introduced was unmistakably a Proximan, a member of the ancient race whose ruins the Zarn had studied for generations. But how could this be? The Proximans were supposed to be extinct. Greetings, cousins, Ambassador Zixtor said, his multifaceted eyes glittering with amusement. I see our appearance has caused some confusion. Rest assured, all will be explained in due time. Vexilor struggled to regain his composure. We. It's an honor, Ambassador. We had no idea your kind still existed. Ilara interjected gently. There's much about the galaxy that remains unknown to your people, Captain Vexilor. The Proximan civilization, far from being extinct, has been a key member of the Galactic Confederation for millennia. But perhaps we should continue this discussion somewhere more comfortable. As they walked through the corridors of the Odyssey, Vexilor and his team were overwhelmed by the sights and sounds around them. The ship seemed alive, with walls that shifted and changed, displaying information or transforming into viewports at a moment's notice. They entered a large conference room, its ceiling a perfect recreation of the space outside. As they took their seats, Vexilor couldn't help but ask, Captain Chen, your ship, it's unlike anything we've ever encountered. How is this possible? Ilara exchanged a glance with Ambassador Zixtor before responding. The Odyssey, Captain, is what we call a metaship. It exists simultaneously in multiple dimensions, allowing us to manipulate space, time, and energy in ways that might seem miraculous to those unfamiliar with the technology. Dr. Patel chimed in, her eyes alight with scientific passion. Your civilization, Captain Vexilor, is on the cusp of a great leap forward. You've mastered faster than light travel, begun to harness the power of stars. But there's so much more waiting to be discovered. Commander O'Neill leaned forward, his expression serious. Which brings us to the reason for this meeting. The galaxy is entering a new phase, Captain. Old alliances are shifting. New threats are emerging. Humanity and the Galactic Confederation believe it's time to welcome new civilizations into the fold. Vexilor's mind reeled. Are you saying you want the Zarn to join this confederation? Ambassador Zixtor nodded, his alien features arranging themselves into what Vexilor recognized as a smile. That is precisely what we're saying, cousin. But such a decision cannot be made lightly. There is much you must learn, much you must understand, before you can truly grasp what it means to be part of the greater galactic community. Ilara stood, gesturing towards the celestial display above them. "Captain Vexlor, we invite you and your crew to embark on a journey of discovery. The Odyssey will serve as your guide, showing you wonders beyond imagination, introducing you to civilizations you never knew existed." Vexlor felt a surge of excitement mixed with trepidation. This was why he had joined the exploration fleet, to discover new frontiers, to push the boundaries of Zarn knowledge. But the scale of what was being offered was almost overwhelming. "And if we accept this invitation?" Vexlor asked. "What then?" Ilara's expression turned solemn. "Then, Captain, you will face a choice that will determine the future of your entire species. Will the Zarn join us in shaping the destiny of the galaxy, or will you choose to remain isolated, clinging to the familiar?" The weight of responsibility settled heavily on Vexlor's shoulders. He knew that his decision here would change the course of Zarn history forever. Looking around at his crew, he saw the same mix of excitement and apprehension he felt reflected in their eyes. "We are explorers," Vexlor said finally, drawing himself up to his full height. "We have always sought to push beyond our limits, to understand the universe in all its complexity. If you offer us the chance to learn, to grow, to see wonders beyond our wildest dreams, how can we refuse?" A ripple of approval went through the human delegation. Ilara stepped forward, extending her hand in what Vexlor had learned was a human gesture of agreement. "Then let the journey begin, Captain Vexlor. Welcome to a universe far grander and more wondrous than you ever imagined." As Vexlor reached out to clasp Ilara's hand, sealing the agreement, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just first contact. It was the first step on a path that would reshape the destiny of his entire species. The adventure had only just begun, and the stars themselves seemed to shimmer with the promise of untold discoveries waiting to be made. The awakening. As the Odyssey glided through the cosmos, Captain Vexlor stood transfixed before a vast observation window. The stars streaked by in a dazzling array of colors he had never before witnessed. It had been 3 standard cycles since the Zarn delegation had accepted the humans' invitation, and each moment since had been filled with marvels that challenged everything they thought they knew about the universe. "Magnificent, isn't it?" The voice of Dr. Aisha Patel broke through Vexlor's reverie. The human scientist had taken it upon herself to act as a guide and teacher to the Zarn visitors. Vexlor's crest rippled in agreement. "I've never seen anything like it. How is this possible? We're traveling faster than light, yet I can still perceive the stars passing by." Aisha smiled, her dark eyes twinkling with enthusiasm. "What you're seeing is a representation of higher dimensional spacetime. The Odyssey doesn't just move through space, it surfs the quantum foam of reality itself." Before Vexlor could inquire further, an alarm blared through the ship. Red lights pulsed along the corridors, and the observation window automatically polarized. "All hands to battle stations," Captain Chen's voice echoed through the ship-wide communication system. "This is not a drill. Repeat, all hands to battle stations." Vexlor's heart raced as he followed Dr. Patel to the bridge. The scene that greeted them was one of controlled chaos. Crew members moved with practiced efficiency, their fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. Captain Chen stood at the center of it all, her face a mask of concentration. "Report," she barked as Vexlor and Aisha entered. "Unidentified vessels approaching at high velocity," Commander O'Neill responded, his eyes fixed on a tactical display. Energy signatures match known Vorax configurations. Vexlor's crest flattened in alarm. The Vorax were a name whispered in fear across the galaxy, a warmongering species that had carved a bloody path through several sectors. Even the Zarn, with all their technological advancements, gave Vorax territory a wide berth. "How many?" Chen demanded. 5 capital ships, ma'am, plus supporting craft." Ilara's jaw tightened. "Looks like the Vorax decided to crash our little diplomatic mission. Shields up, prepare the phase cannons." Vexlor stepped forward, his voice tight with concern. "Captain Chen, Even a ship as advanced as the Odyssey can't hope to stand against a Vorax battle group. We should retreat, call for reinforcements. To Vexilor's surprise, a small smile played at the corners of Ilara's mouth. Oh, we're not running, Captain Vexilor. In fact, this is a perfect opportunity to show you why humanity has become such a vital part of the Galactic Confederation. She turned to her communications officer. Hail the Lid Vorax vessel. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the snarling visage of a Vorax commander. Its scaled skin glistened in the harsh light of its bridge, razor-sharp teeth bared in a predatory grin. Ah, the vaunted human explorers, the Vorax sneered, its universal translator rendering its guttural language into smooth galactic standard. And what's this? You've brought snacks. Its eyes locked onto Vexilor and his crew. Captain Chen's voice was ice. This is a diplomatic vessel on a sanctioned mission. Stand down and withdraw immediately. The Vorax commander's laughter was like gravel in a storm. Or what, little human? You'll lecture us on the virtues of peace. Your ship is impressive, I'll grant you that. It will make a fine addition to our fleet once we've stripped it of its secrets, and its crew of their flesh. Vexilor felt a chill run down his spine, but Captain Chen remained unperturbed. I was hoping you'd say something like that, she said, her voice dangerously calm. Odyssey, initiate Lazarus Protocol. The effect was immediate and astonishing. The bridge of the Odyssey seemed to shimmer and expand. New stations materialized out of thin air, staffed by crew members that hadn't been there a moment before. The very fabric of the ship seemed to pulse with newfound energy. On the view screen, the Vorax commander's sneer faltered. What is this trickery? Captain Chen's smile was predatory now. This, my dear Vorax, is why you should have paid more attention to those lectures on peace. Odyssey, show them what humanity can do when pushed. What happened next defied Vexilor's understanding of physics and warfare. The Odyssey moved with impossible speed and grace, dancing between the Vorax ships as if they were standing still. Beams of energy that seemed to bend reality itself lashed out, carving through Vorax shields as if they weren't there. In a matter of moments, the mighty Vorax battle group was reduced to drifting hulks, their weapons and engines disabled with surgical precision. The bridge of the Odyssey fell silent as the last Vorax ship went dark. Captain Chen turned to face Vexilor, her expression solemn. What you just witnessed, Captain Vexilor, is the true nature of the Odyssey. It's not just a ship, it's the culmination of humanity's journey to the stars. A vessel that can rewrite the laws of physics, that can adapt and evolve to meet any threat. Vexilor's mind struggled to process what he had seen. But how? The power required, the technology. Dr. Paddle stepped forward, her eyes shining with pride. The Odyssey is powered by what we call a quantum core. It draws energy directly from the fabric of space-time itself. And the ship, well, it's as much a living entity as it is a vessel, grown from a fusion of organic and inorganic materials, guided by an AI that borders on sentience. Which brings us to the real reason we sought out the Zarn, Captain Chen continued. Your species stands at a crossroads, much as humanity did centuries ago. You have the potential to become something more, to transcend the limitations of biology and technology, and become true citizens of the cosmos. Vexilor's crest rippled with a mix of awe and trepidation. And you believe we're ready for such a leap. Ambassador Zixtor, who had been silently observing until now, stepped forward. We believe you have the potential, cousin. But the choice, as always, must be yours. To remain as you are, or to embrace a future where the line between organic and synthetic, between matter and energy, becomes meaningless. As Vexilor looked out at the stars, at the disabled Vorax ships drifting in the void, he felt the weight of his entire species' future resting on his shoulders. The journey that had begun with a chance encounter had led them to the threshold of a transformation beyond imagining. We are explorers, Vexilor said softly, echoing his words from days before. We have always sought to understand, to grow, to become more than we are. If this is the next step in our evolution, then we must have the courage to take it. Captain Chen nodded, a look of respect in her eyes. Then let the real journey begin, Captain Vexlor. It's time for the Zarn to awaken to their true potential. As the Odyssey prepared to resume its course, Vexlor couldn't help but feel that they were embarking on the greatest adventure in the history of his people. The stars beckoned, promising wonders and challenges beyond imagining, and the Zarn would face them not as they were, but as what they could become. The awakening had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. Battle of Wits. The days that followed the encounter with the Vorax were a whirlwind of revelation and transformation for Captain Vexlor and his crew. The humans and their allies from the Galactic Confederation introduced the Zarn to technologies and concepts that bordered on the miraculous. Quantum computing, consciousness transfer, matter-energy conversion. Each new discovery pushed the boundaries of what the Zarn thought possible. But it was the Odyssey itself that continued to captivate Vexlor's attention. The ship's ability to adapt and evolve in real time was unlike anything he had ever encountered. As he stood on the bridge, watching the crew interact seamlessly with the ship's AI, he couldn't help but feel a mix of awe and trepidation. "You seem troubled, Captain Vexlor," Captain Chen said, approaching him with a concerned look. "Is everything all right?" Vexlor's crest rippled with uncertainty. "It's just overwhelming. The power at your fingertips, the ability to reshape reality itself. How do you handle such responsibility?" Ilara's expression softened. "It's a question humanity grappled with for generations. The power to create or destroy it on a cosmic scale. It's a heavy burden. But it's also what drove us to seek out other species, to form the Confederation. We realize that with great power comes the responsibility to protect and nurture." Before Vexlor could respond, a loud alarm blared through the ship. The main view screen flickered to life, showing the swirling vortex of energy forming directly in their path. "Subspace rupture detected," shouted the sensor officer. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Captain Chen's demeanor shifted instantly from philosophical to commanding. "All hands, battle stations. Odyssey, initiate defensive protocols." The ship hummed with energy as it prepared for whatever might emerge from the vortex. Vexlor watched in fascination as new systems came online, the ship's very structure reconfiguring to meet the unknown threat. Suddenly, a massive vessel erupted from the vortex. It dwarfed even the Odyssey, its hull a shifting mass of geometric patterns that seemed to defy Euclidean geometry. "By the cosmic egg," Vexlor breathed. "What is that?" Ambassador Zixtor, who had just entered the bridge, let out a gasp. "Impossible. It's a precursor vessel." The word sent a ripple of shock through the bridge. The precursors were a legendary race, said to have seeded the galaxy with life billions of years ago, before vanishing without a trace. A booming voice echoed through their minds, bypassing all communication systems. "She agilduarien of the istrs, uhavebengvged and found wanting. Your dealing in the natural order nds no." Captain Chen's jaw set in determination. "Open a channel," she ordered. "This is Captain Ilara Chen of the Terran vessel Odyssey. We mean you no harm. Please state your intentions." The response came not in words, but in a searing beam of energy that lanced out from the precursor ship. It struck the Odyssey's shields, causing the entire vessel to shudder. "Shield holding at 87%, reported Commander O'Neill. "But that was just a warning shot. If they hit us with their full power, they won't get the chance," Chen said grimly. "Odyssey, initiate Prometheus Protocol." The ship's AI responded immediately. "Prometheus Protocol engage, initiating multi-dimensional phase shift." Vexlor watched in awe as the Odyssey seemed to blur, existing in multiple states simultaneously. The next attack from the precursor ship passed harmlessly through them. "Now," Chen ordered, "let's show them what we can do. Target their primary energy conduits and fire." The Odyssey unleashed a barrage of weapons, each beam twisting and bending in ways that defied physics. They struck the precursor ship at multiple points, causing cascading explosions along its hull. But the ancient vessel was far from defeated. It retaliated with weapons that seemed to ignore the very fabric of space-time, striking the Odyssey from multiple angles simultaneously. Shields at 62% and falling, O'Neill reported. We can't take much more of this. Vexilor's mind raced. He had been studying the Odyssey's systems, trying to understand its incredible capabilities. An idea began to form. Captain Chen, he said urgently, what if we use the quantum core to generate a localized singularity? We could use it to disrupt their space-time weapons. Ilara's eyes widened. It's risky, but it just might work. Odyssey, did you get that? The ship's AI responded instantly. Affirmative. Calculating optimal singularity parameters now. What followed was a battle unlike anything in recorded history. The Odyssey danced through dimensions, each maneuver more impossible than the last. The precursor ship matched them move for move, unleashing weapons that could unmake stars. At the heart of it all, the Odyssey's crew worked in perfect synergy with the ship's AI, guided by Vexilor's insights into quantum mechanics. They pushed the vessel to its absolute limits, rewriting the laws of physics on the fly. Finally, with a burst of energy that momentarily outshone the nearby sun, the Odyssey generated a micro-singularity directly in the path of the precursor's main weapon. The resulting explosion sent both ships reeling. As the cosmic dust settled, the precursor ship hung motionless in space, its weapons silent. We're receiving a transmission, the comm officer reported, disbelief evident in her voice. The same booming voice from before filled their minds, but this time, there was a note of respect. Perhaps, we were hasty in our JDGMENT. UAV shown wisdom, and oriestirent, in the face of OVRWGL. In power. Come, CGILDRN of the STRs. Let USSPEK. As EQUALs. Captain Chen let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. She turned to Vexilor, a smile of genuine admiration on her face. Well done, Captain. It seems your people have more to offer the galaxy than even we realized. As preparations began for the historic meeting with the precursors, Vexilor felt a profound sense of change washing over him. The Zarn had not just witnessed history today. They had helped shape it. And in doing so, they had proven themselves worthy of a place among the most advanced civilizations in the cosmos. The battle of wits was over, but the true challenge, forging a new future for all sentient life in the galaxy, was just beginning. Paradigm shift. The conference room aboard the Odyssey hummed with an energy that transcended the physical. Captain Vexilor stood beside Captain Chen, his crest rippling with a mixture of awe and trepidation. Across from them, the precursor representative shimmered in and out of phase with reality, its form a constantly shifting amalgam of light and abstract geometries. We AAVWHJD and waited. The precursor's thoughts resonated in their minds. For eons, we so UGT Elan Herai to ours worthy of the mantle we once bore. Ambassador Zixtor leaned forward, his multifaceted eyes gleaming with curiosity. You speak of the mantle of responsibility, the duty to shepherd life throughout the cosmos. Indeed, the precursor confirmed, a BURD in the once carried alone. But dehumaniviarisi goros evir moricon pilex. It requires a diversity of perspectives, a symphony of minds to guide its evolution. Captain Chen's voice was steady as she addressed the ancient being. And you believe we're ready for such a responsibility? The precursor's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. Readiness is a journey, no TAD istation. Your battle with U.S. demonistorate not just technological prowess, but wisdom, the Zaarn's insight, humanity's adaptability, the Confederation's unity. These are the equalities that will shape the future. Vexlor felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him. But surely, compared to your civilization, we are still children. How can we hope to wield such power responsibly? The precursor's response was tinged with what could only be described as warmth. It is prescient. He allow your reogenation of your own limitations. He makes you worthy. The greatest wisdom is knowing how much each one has yet to learn. As the implications of the precursor's words sank in, the room erupted into a flurry of discussion. Representatives from various species debated the potential and pitfalls of accepting such a monumental responsibility. Hours passed, feeling like both an eternity and a mere blink in the cosmic scale. Finally, a consensus was reached. Captain Chen stood, her posture straight and resolute. On behalf of humanity and our allies in the Galactic Confederation, we accept the honor and the burden of the mantle. We vow to use our knowledge and power not for dominion, but for the nurturing and protection of all life in the cosmos. The precursor's form blazed with approval. Then, let the great work begin. We shall impart to you the knowledge of ages, the keys to UNOC, the very fabric of reality. What followed was a transfer of information so vast and complex that it defied description. The Odyssey's quantum core pulsed with newfound energy as it absorbed and processed the precursor's gift. As the transfer completed, the ancient being began to fade from view. The CDHAS implanted. How AT is now UP to you. We shall do a teach with great interest. With a final pulse of energy, the precursor vanished, leaving behind a room full of stunned but determined individuals. Vexlor turned to Captain Chen, his voice filled with wonder. What happens now? Ilara's eyes shone with a mix of excitement and determination. Now, my friend, we forge a new path. The knowledge we've been given, it's not just about technology or power. It's about understanding the fundamental nature of existence itself. Dr. Patel, who had been furiously analyzing the data, looked up from her console. This goes beyond anything we've ever imagined. The potential applications in medicine, in ecology, in space-time manipulation. We could end disease, reverse environmental damage, even prevent the heat death of the universe. Commander O'Neill's voice cut through the excitement. But with such power comes unimaginable responsibility. One wrong move, and we could unravel the very fabric of reality. Ambassador Zixtor nodded solemnly, which is why we must approach this gift with humility and caution. We must learn, grow, and most importantly, work together. As the discussion continued, plans being made and unmade in rapid succession, Vexlor found himself drawn to the observation window. The stars seemed different now, each one a potential cradle of life, each galaxy a canvas upon which the future of existence would be painted. He felt a presence beside him and turned to see Captain Chen. Overwhelming, isn't it? She said softly. Vexlor's crest rippled in agreement. When I set out on this exploration mission, I never imagined this. We've gone from being a relatively isolated species to standing at the threshold of becoming cosmic caretakers. Ilara placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture of solidarity that transcended their biological differences. That's the beauty of exploration, Vexlor. It's not just about discovering new worlds or phenomena. It's about discovering our own potential, about realizing that the universe is vaster and more wondrous than we ever dreamed. As they stood there, watching the stars, Vexlor felt a profound shift in his perception. The universe was no longer just a place to be observed and studied. It was a living, breathing entity, one that they were now charged with nurturing and protecting. The real journey, Vexlor said, his voice filled with determination, begins now. Captain Chen nodded, a smile playing at her lips. Indeed it does, and I can't think of better companions to have on this cosmic adventure than you and your people, Vexlor. As the Odyssey prepared to depart, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of countless civilizations, Vexlor knew that they were standing at the dawn of a new era. An era where the boundaries between species, between organic and synthetic, between matter and energy, would blur and ultimately dissolve. The paradigm had shifted, and in its wake, a universe of infinite possibility awaited, ready to be shaped by the combined wisdom, creativity, and compassion of all sentient beings. The stars beckoned, not as distant points of light, but as fellow travelers on the greatest journey of all, the journey towards universal understanding and harmony. And the Zarn, along with their new allies, were ready to take the first step into this brave new cosmos.